Hey, welcome back to World Entertainment. And Stephen the Knight, director and producer, is facing some criticism of his own after he called out Jenna Ortega for her behaviour on Wednesday. But this series, not the day. But he made some comments and he's faced backlash. And all of a sudden, he's sort of apologised for said comments. Now he's calling Jenna Ortega out for what she said about her attitude on filming Wednesday. So here's what Jenna said about filming, in particular, what she did. So she said, I don't think I've ever had to put my foot down on a set in the way that I had to do on Wednesday because it's so easy to fall into the category, especially with this type of show, Ortega said. Everything that she does, everything that I had to play, did not make sense for her character at all. Her being in a love triangle made no sense. There was a line about this dress that she has to wear for a school dance. And she says, oh my god, I love it. I can't believe I said that. I literally hate myself. And I had to go, no, there's no way. She continued, there were times on that set where I even became unprofessional. In a sense, where I just started changing lines. The script supervisor thought I was going with something, and then I would have to sit down with the writers and they'd be like, wait, what happened to the scene? And I would have to go through and explain why I couldn't do certain things. And she felt protective of the character. So there you already have her saying, I was pretty much becoming unprofessional by changing lines and changing some scenes. But the Knight then came out and called her toxic, privileged, got people to start saying he's right. This should be the end of her career. It's insane. So let's have a look at what he said. So he wrote, I love talking with actors about their lines, stories. But by the nature of the beast, they don't have the full picture in TV of where the story is going and why some lines are needed for the whole to make sense. Okay, she's young, so maybe she doesn't know any better. But she should. She should also ask herself how she would feel if the showrunners gave an interview and talked about how difficult she was and refused to perform the material. This kind of statement is beyond entitled and toxic. I love her work, but life's too short to deal with people like this in the business. Oh, good God. So someone tweeted at him and said, Jenna has been acting since she was a kid, stop gaslighting people. And he responded to that saying, here's the thing, she shouldn't have said any of it. How do you think she would feel if the showrunner gave an interview saying her delivery was so bad that they had to put their foot down and constantly give her line readings because she didn't understand how to act? Okay, couple of problems though here. Stevie Boy, a couple of problems. First of all, first of all, she would not be given the role if she could not act. If a director and showrunner and whatnot had to constantly put their foot down with her and say, we have to go over the lines again, we have to study the lines again, we have to do this, you cannot act. A, she wouldn't have been hired, or B, she would be fired. Now let's look at what happened when Jenna Ortega put her foot down and said, you know, this is stupid having her in a love triangle. She wouldn't say this or whatnot. The show's a hit. It's not just a hit, it's a massive hit. Next to Stranger Things, it's the biggest show in the English language to stream. So what's the issue, Stevie Boy? The show's a hit. It would be different if she changed a few things here and there and the show failed. But it didn't. By the looks of it, she had a better understanding of the character of Wednesday Addams than the writers did. You know what I mean? As I said, we'd be completely... And he's saying he loves discussing lines and story with the actors. Well, what do? Talk about it after you film it and say that's a wrap? Clearly, she would have had a look at the script. Clearly, she would have said, this doesn't work. It's... If she was so unprofessional and constantly doing it, they would have fired her ass. Then there's no if, buts or ands about it. They wouldn't just go, well, she's entitled and toxic, we better just let her. As you point out, she's young. So what? Are these writers, studio executives, showrunners, Tim Burton, all terrified of this 5'1", 20-year-old? No. They took her input. They obviously gave her their input. They probably filmed the scenes the way they were written, and then filmed the way she changed it and went, that one works better. Because clearly they used what she changed and the show was made better and a hit. So she clearly had a better understanding. But then he had to clarify his comments because he was just getting ridiculed. And like someone said, I'm curious how you shitting on her in public is any different. Which is a good question. He responded saying, my comments were about breaking the trust that we all have on set and during the production process, that our creative differences will stay in the family. It was never about her creative concerns, which were valid, or about her performance, which was fantastic. I sincerely hope that clears it up. Not really, Stevie Boy, no. Because where were you coming out and going bananas over Mark Hamill publicly coming out and slamming Lucasfilm and Rian Johnson? When he came out, before the movie even came out, we're hearing these statements from Jenna herself after the show has aired. And she simply said they wanted these scenes to be this. I put my foot down and said, no, it doesn't make sense for the character. It should be this. Mark Hamill came out before The Last Jedi had even showed up and said, I think they were even still filming at one point when he came out and said, I fundamentally disagree with every decision they made with the character of Luke in this movie. So much so, he even came out and said, I had to play it completely different. I didn't play Luke Skywalker, I played Jake Skywalker. Where was Stephen the Knight shooting off in Twitter about that one? That's interesting. How about the fact that Schwarzenegger and James Cameron, when Terminator came out and the line, I'll be back, they discussed openly and publicly about how Arnold was like, I don't think the Terminator would say, I'll be back. He would say, I will be back. And the conversation him and Cameron had, and Cameron's response ended up being, tell you what, I won't tell you how to act, you don't tell me how to write. That was made public. How come you never came out and blasted that? No, you took an easy shot at a 20-year-old who made a show, not just better, a huge success. Just saying. Anyway, I'll leave it there for this one. So cheers, and I'll catch you all on the next one. Bye!